Welcome to the Focal Insights Podcast Founder Hour edition, hosted by co-founder Joe Pawlak. Joe has been in the e-commerce industry for over 25 years. He grew and bootstrapped his own startup to a successful exit. Founder Hour episodes go behind the scenes to learn how some of the best e-commerce brands were founded, grown, and operated straight from the founders themselves. Founder Hour is brought to you by Focal Software, a new generation ERP and operation suite for e-commerce brands and third-party marketplace sellers. Focal was built with SMB brands and marketplace sellers in mind to help them grow profitably. Now let's welcome our host, Joe Pawlak.
Hello and welcome to the Focal E-commerce Insights podcast, where we chat with e-commerce entrepreneurs about business, selling online, and how to overcome challenges for success. Joining us today is Anya Cheng. Anya is the founder and CEO of Taelor, an AI-powered men's clothing subscription service. She has been recognized among girls in tech, 40 under 40, won first place at Draper University Startup Competition, and was named a startup to watch by Bay Area Innovations. Anya played a pivotal role in launching Facebook and Instagram, also shopping at Meta, led new business expansion at eBay, and helped grow McDonald's global food delivery. She also shaped Target's mobile commerce and has led teams in AI, product management, UX, and marketing across Fortune 500 companies. Her work has earned over 20 prestigious awards. She's a best-selling author, adjunct professor, two-time TED speaker, lectures at Northwestern University and 500 Global, and is a sought-after keynote speaker. She has a master's degree in integrated marketing communications from Northwestern University and an MBA from the University of Chicago Booth School of Business. She's a Silicon Valley entrepreneur and currently resides in San Francisco. Anya, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. This is Anya from the Bay Area. I did not launch Facebook, Instagram, but I did launch Facebook, Instagram shopping. And I'm now running a company called Taelor. We use AI to pick clothes to how men looks great while also saving the environment. We help reduce the fashion waste. We also help people look great with AI stylist behind you. So happy to share more.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And when we start this podcast, what I always like to do is get the story of how you got into being an entrepreneur, business owner, because like you said, you've worked with Fortune 500 companies, you've worked with Facebook, some very, very big companies, and then switching to your own company is quite a change. Oftentimes it's maybe yourself or one or two people. So let's start off by hearing how you went from your corporate world to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so when I was working for Meta and eBay as a head of product for the e-commerce team, I was usually the only few minorities who came from data scientist marketing background, but does play an important role in a big tech team. So I felt a little bit imposter syndrome as an immigrant from Taiwan, as a woman, and I want to look great and feel that confident every day. So I tried some subscription boxes, like company like Stitch Fix, which they pick item for you, but you have to buy from every single shipment. And then I tried some rental companies like Urban Outfitters, Newly, or Rent the Runway, or Armour. Those are all great companies, and we actually partner with Armour now. But a lot of them require you to pick from thousands of garments. And it was an aha moment for me that I realized most fashion companies are for people who are into fashion, not for lazy people who like me, who hate shopping and hate laundry, but just want to look great and get ready for their day. So I start doing the research, which is the software 101, like who is your user, what problem are they solving? And turn out that there are a lot of busy men, hate shopping, hate laundry. They need to look good for their job, for their dates, getting a salespeople, recruiter, pastor, professor, single guy, but they don't want to reach GQ. They don't want to spend time chasing after fashion. And then we are also very lucky in the era of AI. So with AI, now we can make this possible, picking clothes for them, send them clothes to wear for a couple of weeks. They rent. After they're done, they return the dirty clothes. We wash them and send to other people. No more shopping or laundry.
All right. So really what you saw there was a gap, and you felt that there was an underserved community of people that are kind of lazy men, or that don't want to spend the time to figure out those things, and then you set out to do that. So how did it start for you? How was it the beginnings of that? Put a little insight into that.
Yeah, so when we started, just like many tech companies, we call it minimum viable product, which is a product that validate your hypothesis. And our hypothesis at the time, which is people's like busy guy will actually rent the clothes. We launch a Shopify website really simple, easily, and then from there we look into what are like we just have people to join our wait list. And so at that time there was a guy. He emailed me around Thanksgiving time. He said, "I'm Michael who live in San Diego." I ignored him. I thought it was just a scam. And then a month after, right before the Christmas, he called me. So somehow that he connect me on LinkedIn and I accepted without knowing who he is. And then he called me from the phone number that I list there. And he said, "Hi, I'm Michael. I have been on your wait list for 2 months. I'm sure you guys are amazing rock star company. That's why the wait list takes forever." No, we're just not ready. We have nothing besides the Shopify site. So he said, "I'm a Michael. I live in San Diego. I'm a real estate agent. I really like the clothes that you show on your website. Can you pick something for me for my Christmas?" So we realized he's a real customer. We went to the store to buy a whole bunch of stuff during Christmas time. We went to the post office, put into a post office box, we ship it to him. And he became our first customer. And from there, we test with over 100 people on our wait list. We know what they are looking for. We put together a business plan, and then we raised $2.3 million and started a company 2 years ago.
Okay, so you started with your research was part and parcel with the Shopify website. So you put that up to see if there was demand, and you got people on a waiting list, and then you verified that there was that need, and then you were able to raise some money. Did you sign up a lot of people, or I think you mentioned the time frame. What was the time frame from paying customers to getting that funding?
Yeah, so we have like few months of time that we test with over 100 customers, and their purpose was more of testing, understanding what their needs, so then we know what we need to do to scale for or at least run the business. So what we found, for example, people who are using a service, they tend to be people who use some rental companies. They have family use rental company before, like their wife or a girlfriend use newly by Urban Outfitter or Armour or Rent a Runway, or they used to be subscription boxes user. They do use styling service like Stitch Fix, for example. So we also found that most of them are socially active. They are single guy, sales guy, recruiter, pastor, professor. And we also realized that they only know a few brands. They know Nike, Uniqlo, Banana Republic, and that's about it. They are not into fashion. They don't want to chase after trend. They actually don't want to be fashionable. They want to look put together and just get ready for their day. I think so with that few 100 paying customer, it allows us to have a clear pictures on at least the starting point of who they are, and then also what we need. For example, we do need an operation tool to order, to do the subscription, to ship the clothes out, to do return logistics, to identify which items. We also need to partner with fashion brands, and that's from there we partner with over 300 brands in the last 2 years. And we also realize that they need amazing brand, and they don't care about the brand, they care about the quality. So what we found was that we are able to source globally of the best brand internationally. They may not be well known in the US, but they serve high quality clothes. And we also, because that we can help them get rid of unsold inventory versus burning them. So really helping on the environment as well. And those were from our pilot. They're enough for us to build a business plan to raise the money.
Okay, and then were those first few hundred customers, did they know they were participating in a little bit of research? Were you getting feedback from them to check on product market fit, pricing, things like that? Or were you just watching it all happen and see how it goes?
I think they know we are a startup, but they don't know this research. I won't say even research is more of a pilot. So we obviously we also reach out to a lot of people we know, right? So we posting in alumni groups that, hey, we're a signing company. If you want to be our pilot customers, give you a try. Obviously, at that time the price is quite very reason, very a lot, like half of our price today. So then they kind of know it's going to be not a perfect experience, but they also know it's kind of try and testing the concept for us. So I think by doing so, it allows us to validate hypothesis. Just like when Rent the Runway started, the hypothesis is people rent dress. So instead of buying dresses or even get into building any app, all they do is screenshot dresses from department store, send an email to a group of people who are going party, and ask them, would you rent dress? Because if people say yes, then at least people rent clothes, then that's the fundamental hypothesis of their business. And that's similar to how we did before.
Yeah, and then you were able to get it going full speed after that test period. And when did you start? What year did you start?
We started 2.5 years ago. We raised money from Berlin Capital, which is the early investor of Lyft, Instacart, Spotify, Facebook. And then from there, we were able to grow 10 times year over year and then get to where we are today.
And how many customers do you have now?
I cannot share publicly here on the podcast, but we do have serving thousands of customers and have customer US nationwide in all metropolitan cities and including pretty much every state, including like Alaska. Our farthest customer is a guy who lives in Southeast Asia. We ship to
Oh,
their US Air Force station, and then the Air Force actually sent his clothes to him.
oh wow, that's great. So you're worldwide.
No, not
Okay.
really worldwide, but this is a unique case that he always enjoying the summer clothes when it's winter here. So it's perfect with a very different. He got plenty of assortment that he can pick with our stylist front.
Yeah. Yeah, and you do have a subscription product. It's a little bit unique. You said you use Shopify. So from an e-commerce standpoint, are you able to get customers from any other channels or marketplaces, or do you rely pretty heavily on your website?
I think this is two different things. One is where they land, one is where we get a customer. We use Shopify as a starting point for the test, but then over time we have using most of our own technologies. As
Okay.
my background is building technology for Meta, eBay, and Target, so then we kind of handpick the stuff that most important for us, and then building ground up from there, and over time replacing the Shopify stuff. But in terms of where to get the customers, obviously the site is just a landing experience, right? So where to find a customer, we partner with dating site like Coffee Meets Bagel and another 7 dating company and matchmaking company. We partner with schools to offer box sales for school to buy for students for prepare for their job interview, MBA students who are socially active, and then go on internships. We also work with a lot of different women's rental companies as well. Now we are partnering with Armor. They are Seattle-based women's companies. They offer a little bit styling, but most of the also women can also pick their own clothes. Together we go after corporate. So as a company, you can help your employee to save time. You can also help reduce the waste because 30% of clothes go directly from factory to landfill, and it account for 10% of carbon emission in the world. So together, we also go after corporate to help corporate to provide nice things so then people can save time and then looks more inclusive. So not only the big boss looks great, but even new hires all looks great.
Yeah, so it sounds like you get a lot of subscriptions from your website, but you also do a lot of partnerships, and that's a little bit more people reaching out to people and establishing relationships.
Yeah, we do partnerships with company. We do also have obviously a lot of customer. They found us because their woman's counterparts has been using the service. As you guys may know, the woman's rental company like Armor, Newly by Urban Outfitter, Rent the Runway, and Ralph Lauren Express, Banana Republic. There has been 10 companies serving millions of users for the last 10 years. So circular fashion, share economies, and rental and resale. The idea of sustainability in fashion has been a lot more educated in the woman's space in the US before. So a lot of guys heard from their friend and family. They went on Google search. They found us through search engine optimizations. And because we are ranked number one by GQ, People, Bloomberg, AB, and also features on ABC, TechCrunch, and Fox News. So a lot of people end up seeing our news and come to our sites.
Okay. Now, as far as from the technologies and tools that you use for your business, we talked about Shopify, and it sounds like you then made figuring out what needs you have from the website. You built your own technology for your website platform. What other tools did you use early on, or things that you felt were necessary to get started and ramp up very quickly?
I think we quickly discovered that we are a circular fashion company, which is different from e-commerce. Like it's in some area, it's similar to the e-commerce where people need to come in and sign up and pay. Like the conversion funnel is the same, but the difference on that is we have reverse logistics. So people always return, and we send five item out. People tend to buy one or two things. They wear the rest for a couple of weeks. Then they return the dirty clothes again next shipments, which is similar but different from e-commerce. In e-commerce, it's more of a return and then they restock, but not every single item or a shipment being returned. In our case, it's always being returned. And then when it's being returned, we also have a laundry process. It's not that they can restock right away. You have to go through laundry, and similar to e-commerce, you also have to QA, make sure the clothes is gray, or in e-commerce, make sure the item is gray and refurnish that. And then you can go back to the site. So this is the area where we do use a lot of internal tools. And of course, AI styling itself is a whole part of technology that typical e-commerce site with Shopify does not have. So then we build our own AI styling using our proprietary data.
And you're using, did you develop your own AI tools as well, or are you using a third party for that?
Obviously, everybody put on top of LLM, but we put our own unique data into module and then put on top of LLM. For example, we know customers' true preference because it's rental program. So after they rent, like how you decide what to watch on Netflix show, you already pay a monthly fee, so your picking does not impacted by the purchase price, which is very different from the e-commerce sites. And we also know customers' feedback because it's subscription, so they love to give feedback in order to make sure next shipment is better. We partner with over 300 fashion brands. They know the future, and typical AI does not know the future. We also know garment quality after washes, which is very different from the e-commerce side. You don't really know the true quality because you don't wash them, you don't rent them. So then we combine those unique data that other people don't have and then put into a module and then put it on top of large language model. So then OpenAI grow, we grow. Elon Musk AI, XAI grow, we grow, but we always one step ahead.
Yeah, and your model lends itself well, obviously, to the clothing and fashion industry. I've also seen it, other people using that same model for different products, like toys, for example, for children. Are you, as we segue a little bit into the future of e-commerce and technology, are you thinking this model is going to be used more and more in a lot of industries or products that lend themselves to this subscription or rental?
For sure, I think sharing economy is booming, is growing like crazy. It's from like 25% year-over-year growth and continue grow. As you guys can see from the Uber, Airbnb to nowadays, people are renting a lot of things. People renting tools, gears, and people renting party-related stuff. People renting back in Taiwan where I grew up, people renting scooters and bicycles everywhere, and renting cleaning equipments, and it's just it tidying up, right? More people are they're getting. If you look at your houses, there, but I guarantee there's 50% of stuff that you don't really use frequently, right? But look at your closet. Most people only wear 20% of what they buy, and that's what people already bought. However, actually, even from the factory, there's 30% of clothes go directly to landfill. And fashion alone account for 20% of the polluted water in the world. And you look at the world that there are so many pollution being made there because when they are producing the clothes, but then 30% of them go nowhere to the landfill directly. And people say, oh, we send to Africa. In fact, if you look at research, you will know African, they don't need that many clothes. Each of them, they can buy 10, like even 10 clothes per week will still be more than what they needed. It's just the world is overproduction. And the reason being so is that there is so little data back to original brand and manufacturer. Look at when was your last time you genuinely provide feedback for the stuff that you bought in due to the detail. You don't. So if you look at those international brands, it's even worse. They probably wholesaling to a company that's wholesaling to another company, wholesaling to another company. After 5 rounds, eventually then on customer's hand, and you don't provide feedback. So they don't know what people like and what's wrong with their product. And they go back and produce a product again and again. And those are junks. So by having this shared economy on the one hand, yes, we can get the overproduced inventory to find a new home through AI styling. And so people willing to try something new because it's rental, because someone recommended me and pair the outfit for me. But also you get feedback so then we can tell them what people really like. Oh, your sleeve is too long. You just need to reduce 2 inches will be perfect. And those unique insight will allow them to make sure they can reduce their unsold inventory for next round.
Yeah, and I think I've heard that statistic before. 20% of the clothes in your closet are all that you wear. I think maybe even less in some cases. Everybody has their favorites, and the rest of them just stay in the closet.
That's right. And then a lot of time it's also people don't know what they like, right? And it looks great in the store. You go back home, you wear, and then you bought them, you wear for a couple times, and somehow it's just a little bit itchy here or a little bit tight over there. And fashion trend also changed, right? So stuff that you bought 2 years ago, you may not be in that style anymore, a different lifestyle. You now work from home or you all go back to the office. You gain weight, you lose weight, right? So it's just so many things. Not that we don't want to be sustainable, but it's just really hard to be right. So then why not? You just share. And it's almost like try before you buy. Our item tend to get sold within 3 rentals. So it's still like new. When you get the clothes, it's very new and you wear them. If you like it, you can buy it, which usually like half a price from retail because it's secondhand, even though only being worn for one time. So you can try something new, no shopping. Or if you travel, you don't need to bring your dirty clothes home. You give it to hotel lobby with a return envelope. You go home, the new clothes has arrived, and you don't need to do any laundry.
I like that. And you can put all of your souvenirs into the empty space in your luggage as well.
Exactly. You'll buy more your outlet stuff for your wife. So
Yeah, gift.
and more chocolate for your families.
Yeah, of course. Gotta have the chocolate. Okay, well, the talking a little bit about the future too of e-commerce and buying online. It's a $6 trillion market, roughly going to 8 trillion. So it's growing very, very quickly. I know you specialize also in social e-commerce. And so I want to get your take on what you think is coming for the future, what people should be planning for as they're growing their e-commerce business or thinking of getting into it.
Yeah, I think the social e-commerce is a trend, but in general, the foundation is that people want more points of view from others. People have hard time to decide. So if they know how to buy, they go on Amazon, and they, if not sure what to buy, they come to the rest of the world, and where is very, very crowded, including your site, right? So I think it's important to think about, yes, you can also leverage more social commerce, but the reality is that people were just looking for a validation to ensure that's the right fit for them. And validation means a lot of things. For example, people want, in our case, people want to see people with similar demographic or age or occasions. I'm going out for date night. I want to see if your date night outfits. Hey, I am very tall. I want to see if you serve tall guys. Hey, I'm very picky. I want to know if you have certain a little bit streetwear style, right? So people's validation need to be there, and social commerce is a mean for solve that problem. But in your business could be other things that yes, you could see the testimonial, but many times usually testimonial is like 3 people, and you were, who knows if you are, that they are your brother and sisters, right? So find a way to help people to get the validation that they needed and the validation that's relevant to them. And end of the day, that's the meaning of the social commerce. But in general, people want to see what people say and more true, and that's where they look for brand like ambassadors or even real customers or Google review or Reddit review, and that's what the problem they were trying to solve.
Yeah. And how about sizing when it comes to AI? I know there's some tools. One of the things I find really helpful is when they have a model and they tell you how tall this model is and what size they're wearing. That's super helpful. But I've also seen AI tools that run on your phone and do some kind of measuring from pictures. Is that something you use or see coming in the future? A lot of that type of technology?
Yes and no. If you know that type of technology has been there for decades, but somehow it's still not correct. So we don't trust it, and I'm sure eventually, just our AI has been there for 20 years, and suddenly Gen AI had breakthrough, and now it works, right? So I do believe one day it will be right, but so far we don't see anyone that's correct. And in fact, we found the best way is not even ask people their height and weights. Most of the guys think they are taller and thinner, so their height and weight tend to be wrong. We found the best way, just ask them to go back to your closet and pick your favorite outfit and tell me what brand, what style it is. Oh, it's a Banana Republic. Wait, t-shirt size large. I thought I'm medium. Yeah, I know. You wrote down your medium. Turn out your favorite outfit is size large. So by just simply asking those questions, and when we look at their stuff, then we can quickly figure it out. And then it's subscription. So when we send people the first time, they give a little bit feedback. Very quickly, we know, like on second time, we know what's their true fits. So we still, so far, we find that this has been most helpful. We also definitely do a lot of remeasurements on the clothes. There are 300 brands coming in, and their sizing, they are all different. The Japanese, the large is our American small. So we do remeasure those outfits and then give them true sizing. And then for customers, by providing a little bit input and then try out for the first time, we know about their size.
Yeah, that must be a big challenge because even like you said, from country to country, European versus US, but also from manufacturer to manufacturer, a medium is not the same medium from one company to another. So it's very difficult, but it sounds like you've got a handle on that for sure.
Yeah, for us, we don't need customer to decide. We actually decide for them. It's a little bit, it's a beauty of rental, right? If you're e-commerce, almost like your return is the cost, so you don't want to return. But in our model, it's circular. It's already back into the business model. We know customer return, almost like your Netflix show, your libraries. You know you're going to return, so it's a little bit easier this way. However, if you are e-commerce owners, yes, there are tools out there that will try to help people to better measure. Some of them will be some of them using the AR, VR that you mentioned, and some of them were using other information on what customer had purchased from other website. So there's still some options out there, and definitely worth a try.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's circle back now to just business in general and starting a business and startups. What advice do you have for anyone that's listening, watching, that is thinking about getting into business for themselves, either e-commerce or business in general?
Yeah, I think uh s- being an entrepreneur is extremely difficult. So first of all, prepare for it. It's very, very exciting too. Every day is different. You make an impact. If people ask me what's like being a founder and different from big company, I will say that if I look back my last 10 years, some of the day I have the high, I have the low, and the good time and the bad time. And probably the level of the best and the worst, I experienced that in the last 10 months. So if you are someone who feel like, hey, I don't mind to experience in a very short period of time, is like roller coaster up and downs, and I like the excitement of the life, and there's no boring moment of life, yes, then founder life might be for you. But if you feel like, I'm definitely not into the chasing the roller coaster, and definitely still really like people look at my business card and say I'm like from big companies, and being a founder is very, very different. But I will also say that one thing is uh, very interesting is that you learn a lot, because when I was working for big company, you only see your so tiny part. So even for marketing, we don't always ask for your true return on investment. We say we run the campaign, how many people signed up, but we don't really know after people buy what's the margin, and in the end, are we ROI positive? I don't even know, right? Because as e-commerce for big tech company, I don't even know the margin. I know how much money is spent in marketing, for example, and how many people buy, but then net, like in the end of the P&L, you don't know. But then those things were being an entrepreneur or founder or e-commerce people, you have to know about. And nowadays there's a lot of tool on watch out on tool that will definitely on the e-commerce side, because I think a lot of company brand are also thinking, how can I get rid of reseller? How can I directly go to customer, even though they don't understand how that works? So, but I think that's the area where going to be disrupted. I just talked to a founder the other day. They are solving that problem, helping brands to go directly to customers versus having a lot of reseller, e-commerce reseller in between. So I think that's a trend that worth to watch out.
Yeah. So that's real good advice, is to that it's starting your own business, entrepreneurism. It's different, and prepare for it. So maybe know what you're getting into. And then you touched on another thing there that we at Focal we focus on quite a bit, which is understanding your business and understanding your fees. Because with e-commerce, a lot of times you're dealing with high volume, low margins, and if you don't have visibility, you don't know, like you said, you don't know if you're being profitable or if you're just moving stuff around and losing money. So you have to have visibility into all that.
Yeah, I recently know a founder. We quite jealous her a year ago because her business got into like Whole Food and those like really Costco, those really big brands. And so for a CPG company and also running her own e-commerce, we like everyone see that as superstar. And we just learned that she recently closed a business because what she found was the items were being moved, but she made no money. And because for those the retailers with so much a high part of chunk being made like as a service fee, commissions and then marketings and everything add up, eventually she's moving million of the stuff, but then she didn't make any money. So end up she decided to shut down the business. So it's important to look at end to end.
Yeah. You can show great gross revenue, massive amounts of money, but the company's bleeding, so to speak, even though. Okay, well, that's all good stuff. Why don't you tell our listeners where they can find out more about your business, your website, and how to find you if anyone wants to reach out and say hello.
Yeah. So I'm Anya Cheng, and so if you want to give it a try on looking great, and our company is Taelor.style. That's Taelor.style, Taelor.style. You can use the code podcast. You get to 25% off first month. So AI with human stylist will style you. You get the clothes to wear for a couple weeks and return the dirty clothes, get next shipments. And if you want to reach out to me, feel free to find me on LinkedIn, Anya Cheng, ANYACHENG, or Anya at Taelor.ai, Anya and Taelor.ai. Look forward to working with any brands who want to get your inventory to those white collar busy men in the US. So if you are fashion brands, we'll love to talk to you.
All right, excellent. Well, with that, then I think we'll wrap up. So thank you, Anya, so much for sharing your experience, and thanks to everyone watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's Anya Cheng from Silicon Valley Tailor.style. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Focal Insights Podcast. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can be alerted of new episodes. See you next time.